Hey, what's the deal, YouTube? It is Craig Harris, the black man in the green chair. I am back with another video, my second of today. Uh, I've been playing Final Fantasy 15 all day, and let me recommend that to all of you all. But they added some type of I think 1.4 or 1.5 update to it, and it makes the game damn near unplayable. It's just, this is for the pro. It's just not a good update for the pro. I'm happy with the 30 FPS because it's an RPG, but I'm old school. But let me just make this clear. I didn't like this update. I love the game. The game is a lot of fun. Let me shout out to the one viewer. I always have one viewer that clicks on when I come on. So I do appreciate you coming in and chopping it up really real quick. I'm going to do this one as try to do it as fast as I can. But at this point here in the last I said in the last 5 hours, the Xbox fanboys are in total meltdown. I'm talking, it is bad. If you drink margaritas out there, if you drink a margarita, you don't have to go buy any salt at this point. You can just go ahead and get an Xbox fanboy, because I've never seen this much, this bitching and moaning at any point. Hey, Widow, you want an invite? Just say, yeah, I'll invite you in. But I've never seen anything like this before in my life. Shout out to Widowmaker, by the way. You were that like I said, that Final Fantasy 15, you were spot on that one, brother. That game's fun. I'm about 30 hours into him. It's a good game. This total meltdown. I never thought I'd see today, but what we are witnessing, folks, they are in the throes. You know, like when an animal's dying and it's making all this noise. It's just pathetic. I mean, I've never seen anything like this before. They are literally saying, well, hey, you know, Sony hasn't released a AAA game. This is their first AAA game since 2016. I mean, it's just the damage control is out of control. They are tweeting Phil Spencer. I kid you not. If you check Phil Spencer's Twitter timeline, they are in full panic mode. People are losing faith in the brand, and it's just, they're out of control. Phil Spencer has tweeted back saying that people should just celebrate the games being out, Zelda coming, Horizon coming. You know, Halo Wars 2 is out. They're not even talking about it. And there's been plenty of commercials for Halo Wars, at least online. I've seen a ton of commercials online for Halo Wars 2. Halo Wars 2 is going to get annihilated next week. And let me break some news now about Horizon Zero Dawn. Much to my chagrin, I must tell you the truth. The truth is Horizon Zero Dawn has been pushed. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you're hearing it here first. At 10:50 Eastern Standard Time, Horizon Zero Dawn has been pushed. You can no longer pick it up after midnight Tuesday. I must inform you right now, you can pick it up earlier. They're actually going to sell this game at 9 o'clock. There's such a big push for the game. They're actually going to get it. So the game has been pushed up. I was at the store today. The game is in stock. The game came in today. They're going to have it out on the floor probably Thursday or Friday. And the game is in stock now. It gets all its UPCs and stuff put on it here in the next 48 hours. It will be on the floor to sell. So that's good news about Horizon Zero Dawn. But you guys got to go look at Twitter with me. Just everybody go to Twitter, go to Phil Spencer's page, follow him on Twitter because he does interact with people. It's actually pretty nice how he does that. But I've not seen this. Like I said, the salt is real. I'm talking about, if you are a black man, you can't have an Xbox because of the salt. It's going to make the blood pressure go up. It's going to make your electrolytes and triglycerides just go up. I've not seen anything like it before. I mean, the whole AAA thing cracks me up. Here's a group of people. All right, look, let me start this with this year. Sony has released to this point, not Horizon, I'm sorry, it's not out yet. They've released, I think, either 2 or 3 exclusive games. And all they're saying is, oh, well, hey, it's not a AAA game, and who cares? And Gravity Rush 2, and Gravity Rush was a Vita game, I believe. Gravity Rush 2, which they didn't expect to do well in the United States, has done very well in Japan. That's kind of the target audience, you know. So, all right, Widow, I'll hit you up here. Let me go back to the little screen guy here and see if we can get you on in here, my brother. Yeah, let's see here. It should be popping you up. There you go. There we go. And but they're out of control. I'm Stone Fox. He did a video on it, and they are losing faith in the brand. They're talking about we need something to compete. But let me tell you what's happened here. Games like Neo and let me get to Nier Automata first. Nier Automata is going to go to PC. That game, unfortunately for them, it was going to be cannibalized. I know they were going to move it to PC later this year, but they moved it up because it's coming out in between, like I said earlier, it's coming out in between Mass Effect Andromeda, just a huge Halo Wars 2 is out now. It's just a whole lot out there for it to compete with. And it's a smaller title. It's a cool game, but it's a smaller title. Is that you, Widowmaker?
Yeah, what's up, man? What's up, bro?
What's happening, man? I'm here talking about. I've been on Twitter. How was your day today, by the way?
Oh, not too bad, man. I was out kicking it with my son most of the day, man. So.
Oh well, that's the most important thing you got right there. Family's all we got, and yeah, he'll definitely appreciate that. You got to hang out with them when they're young, when they think it's cool to be around you. So.
Right.
So yeah, eventually, yeah, I know when mine hits 9 or 10, it's I was at the park. I was off today and off tomorrow, but it's park day tomorrow. So
oh, okay.
I got to do that I got my day today. I got Final Fantasy in. So you were, like I said, you were right on about that. That game is fun. Once I got to like level 15, and I found some more of those weapons. Yeah, I can go around and terrorize the countryside now with those weapons.
Yeah.
So,
man, yeah. I can't even play Final Fantasy at home no more, man. Yeah, I'm serious. My son will take the control. He's 2 years old. He will take that controller and he will run around and just look for animals.
Oh yeah,
and beat the hell out of them.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Well, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I was like, hey, go ahead, game on, little dude, game on.
Yeah,
I can't be mad at you.
Yeah, chip off the old block. So, what do you think of the news of Nier Automata? They have announced that Platinum Games is this game is going to go to PC. I think March 10th or 11th. They're pushing this up. A lot of people are believing because it was going to be cannibalized. It's coming out. It's facing Horizon Zero Dawn, the Switch release. Do you think this is a good idea on their part to put this on PC?
I mean, you know what? I mean, but it was slated to go to PC a long time ago because I've been knew about it going to PC and stuff like that. So, but man, you know what? With the amount of stuff Sony's putting out, I'm like, man, they are cannibalizing themselves. I mean, people thought it was bad, with announcing the Xbox Slim and then announcing the Scorpio in the same showing, and they thought that just cannibalized the sales from the Scorpio, for the Slim. But I'm like, man, they putting out like in a matter of a month or two or something like that, like at least three games or something like that, and all of that stuff, is going up against Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm like, man, y'all shooting yourself in the foot with whatever y'all put up next to Horizon Zero Dawn. I mean, because man.
Yeah, Sony always puts. I've told people Sony stuff will always come out before June. They will not launch a lot of games. Now I know this year's different. I think they're going to release Gran Turismo. I think that's slated to release like right in May, I think. Don't quote me on that, but it's somewhere in Q2. I think it's going to be right. It'll either launch right at E3 or right before E3. But I think that'll be their only game for the summer. Then they'll get out of the way for the multiplayer games. But yeah, I just I saw that news, and like you, I thought it was headed to PC. But yeah, now what do you think about this Halo Wars 2? It's apparently it's tracking lower than I Am Bread. So,
but that's I heard one stop. Well, I didn't hear it because I didn't watch the video, but I seen it in the title, and I'm like, how is that possible when the game didn't come out until today?
well, the orders, the way the game gets ordered, as far as how they can track enthusiasm and stuff like that. I mean, the game, it tracked real low. I saw the game. I played on it a little bit. Haven't bought it yet because we're stuck playing Gravity Rush, and I don't know if we're going to end up getting Neo or Halo Wars. But I didn't like it as much as the other real-time strategy game, XCOM. XCOM was but that's more my type of game. But as far as the lure, the Halo thing, it's just not. To me, it's disappointing that it didn't have HDR. It's the first big release of the year for Xbox. And they pushed HDR out the box first with the, you said, with the Slim, and it doesn't have it. But the story on it, if you were into the Halo lore, I'm talking about the lore. This is your game. You're gonna get your feel, So you can just kind of tell with the cut scenes, they were pretty heavy. But yeah, do you think with next week with Horizon coming out and Horizon tracking extremely well as far as pre-orders and stuff like that, do you think Halo Wars 2 is kind of dead in the water, kind of like Nier Automata is just in a bad spot?
Oh man, look, I'll put it to you like this: people have been clamoring, falling down, going crazy, rolling in the goddamn streets for Horizon Zero Dawn since sometime last year or whatever, since sometime last year.
Yeah.
So man, so that thing, I didn't expect anything less from that. I mean, this right here, this is predominantly the game people have been waiting for from PlayStation, for a long time.
Yeah, well, I told people
for a while. So
go get that. Rise of the Tomb Raider ain't no joke either. Like I said, you can see the acne on the side of her face. It was that clean.
I mean,
go ahead.
But I expected nothing less than this game to have high pre-orders, and stuff like that. As long as the reviews and stuff like that were saying it was okay or whatever and stuff like that. If people, I'll put it like this: if people are salty about this game, now they gonna be even more salty. They gonna be in some type of, they blood pressure gonna be through the roof when they actually release and they see them and they actually see the numbers. I mean, because
that's another thing.
This thing is, I'll put it like this: I would be shocked. It would be more shocking to me if it doesn't perform well.
Yeah, because it's over the last 4 hours, the meltdown has happened. It started, I want to say, I'll just put a timeline of 3 p.m. Phil Spencer started getting tweets from the Xbox community. I did a video on it earlier today trying to answer. I wasn't trying to be a smart ass. I like Randall Thor 19. I see Kofi start. He did a video trying to answer him too. Trying to be sincere about it. I mean, nobody's trying to be a smart ass. I just think that and I agreed with Stone Fox, so shout out to him. It's just with Nier Automata, Neo, and Neo's a surprise hit. Anybody listening, Neo is a surprise hit. Sony has been taken aback by that because of the it's kind of like Until Dawn. I've said this before. Until Dawn surprised Sony as well. Nier is flying off the shelves. It's hard to find a physical copy.
For Neo, you mean?
Yeah, for Neo. Yeah, it's just Neo. Yeah, Neo. I'm sorry, it's
Yeah,
hard to
yeah,
find
man,
it.
man. I mean, but you know what? And we haven't had any actual sales numbers on Neo, really. Other than it charting, coming in second to Grand Theft Auto 4 in the UK. That's pretty much the only, as
Yeah,
far as I know, that's the only, sales, records that we have of it and everything like that. But I heard, from my understanding, it didn't. The pre-orders weren't high for that
no,
game. So
yeah,
so 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 therefore, the stores didn't get
correct.
a lot of stock of the game
You're
and
right.
stuff
They
like
did.
that. So
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah,
like that. So so it being hard to get and stuff like that, that's because people didn't pre-order it because the stores didn't have a lot.
yeah, and again, it really did take Sony off guard because physically they thought it'd be more of a digital type download game. And for me personally, I'm gonna get it Friday. I will have to digitally download it if we get it because I don't.
Hmm.
Like I said, I'm stuck. I mean, it's like these three games are boom, 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 and but let me ask you this. As far as, and let me go back to what Stone Fox was saying. So, like I said, a big shout out to him. There are literally people on Twitter in the bunches questioning Microsoft on what they're doing. You even got, now I'll
Oh
say it
man.
because let me give him a shout out here. Next Gen 720 today. He said he's doing God's work, but
Yeah,
he
I
even
seen that.
calling Microsoft out. He said he's done doing the damage control. Said he'll do a little bit of damage control Monday through Friday, but he pretty much said bang bang on the weekends is going to be the straight truth. So shout out to him. He's entertaining as hell. This. He cracks
Yeah,
me up,
yeah,
man. But
yeah.
so and if people watching, go sub to him. He's got a lot of good stuff on there, and he does the whole UFO thing too. And I appreciate him opening up about that. But with
I mean,
that said, do you think that with this a meltdown? I mean, I'm not saying this to be
oh
funny. I
man,
mean,
it's
you should have heard. Well, hey, look, it's not. They don't have any AAA games, and
man.
I mean,
Look,
I'm serious. This is stuff coming out of the fanboys, not like people
the
like you, not like people like
the
you who got.
panic is dog. The panic is real. The panic is.
Yeah,
I mean, you can reach out, grab it, cut it in little slices, put some mayonnaise on it, put on a piece of bread, and eat it. It's real.
yeah. But let me ask you, why? In your honestly here, put your
Oh,
thinking cap on. Why
oh
did
man,
you?
I'm gonna tell you
Yeah,
exactly why. I'm gonna tell you exactly why it's like
yeah. The
that. I'm gonna
floor
tell
is
you
yours.
exactly.
Go ahead. Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna
I'm
tell
a
you
shut up.
exactly why. And this is for everybody that's listening, man. Put your thinking caps on, get ready for some straight up common sense. Okay,
Bring it, brother.
all this stuff happened right after PSX. Sony threw a whole bunch of games and slapped everybody in the goddamn face. Game after game after game after game. Even if the games ain't coming out no time soon, they showed you that these games is coming. They showed you the lineup. They showed you the menu. Even if even if the fucking meals ain't ready in the back, they showed you the menu and shit like that. So, and the thing is we haven't heard anything from Microsoft since last year and everything. So all the games that are coming up now are games that we've already known about. We haven't seen anything new
Yeah.
and everything else like that. So, and I've said this before, Microsoft only has primarily two stages to show their games on: E3 and Gamescom. Sony has like four or five. They have E3, Gamescom, the Paris weekly thing, Tokyo Game Show, and PSX. So
Yeah.
you're gonna get more game news from Sony in a year's time than you will from Microsoft, point blank and period. Because Sony has more stages, more venues to show off the games and tell you what's coming up, everything. So people are panicking and talking about where's the games, where's the games, where's the game. I mean, what do y'all want Microsoft to do? Just throw together a brand new show a week after PSX comes out, just to show y'all the games? Like, no, they're going to wait until they have their E3 and stuff like that and everything else like that. Now, I think people are just panicking because they don't know anything about what Microsoft is doing. I mean,
Yeah,
just like
that's what one of the tweets said. That's what one of the tweets said.
And that's basically what it is. I mean, it looks like Sony just slapped them and Microsoft ain't doing nothing. I mean, that's just because E3 hasn't come around and Microsoft hasn't had their time on the stage yet. I mean, that's like if you're in a rap battle and the dude that goes first and stuff like that is bomb or whatever, stuff like that, and you saying the second dude lost already when he hasn't even grabbed the mic and start rapping yet. You don't know because you haven't heard him. I mean, give dude his chance, let both people go, and then decide. That's so. People's asking, "Where's the games, Microsoft? Where's the games? Where's the games?" I'm like, well, shit. Give them a chance. Give them a chance to show you the games. They're not going to do it till E3. So you saying where's the games now? Where's the games now? Sony had PSX back in I forget when, a couple months ago and stuff like that. So from then up until E3, it's Sony's show. You know why? Because Microsoft won't be giving their answer to whatever Sony said at PSX until E3. So this train is going to ride out like this all the way until E3, all the way until Microsoft actually shows some damn games, actually shows something. And then that's why people keep saying that this upcoming E3 is so critical for Microsoft because of all the things that Sony has shown and everything. So I'm like this. Stop with all the where's the games, all this other stuff. Stop with all the panicking. People, Xbox community, stop with all the panicking, stuff like that. I mean, because Microsoft hasn't answered yet. I mean, y'all pushing them to answer because y'all see everything that Sony's doing and bringing out and stuff like that. So y'all clamoring for ammunition to fight back. Well, and that's what it is. So right now the Xbox community can't say shit. They can't say shit because Sony's shown all these games and Microsoft hasn't said anything, and they're not going to say anything until E3. So right now the fanboys have no ammunition to fight back. They just basically just body bags out there.
Well, yeah, and you know what? The one YouTuber I did hear, and I just kind of shrugged it off when after PSX, like you said. What YouTuber said that the Xbox was finished after that conference.
Mm-hmm.
It was one stop for gamers. Seriously,
I know that.
I mean, and I kind of just kind of shrugged it off, kind of like, well, come on, I'm sure Microsoft will have some games, but so I'm in agreement with you in a sense. I really think that PSX really shook the foundation of the Xbox community. That was what it looks like now in hindsight. Yeah. Looks like it really brought the, because I mean, I already know, we already know Final Fantasy VII's coming. That'll be a Shimu 3, I think, is coming. All this will be announced at E3. God of War, that's coming. And I've always told people that we're going into the 4th year of the console cycle, and this is kind of where Sony.
Hey, can you announce that? I was in the front. Yeah.
You fine, you good. But yeah, now it's so yeah, you got them. The Xbox fanboys are just like they're in panic mode. Shout out to the viewers. There's 7 or 8 viewers that are watching. Appreciate you all joining me and Widowmaker, trying to ease, hopefully talk some of the Xbox folks off the ledge. I mean, it's trying to, So yeah, it's unfortunate that it's reached this point for them. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm still here. I was actually in the car with my daughter, so I was leaving my Wi-Fi area, so he was just switching over to my regular data real quick.
Yeah. Oh, I get it. Ain't no big deal. So yeah, so tonight there was a podcast. I won't say which one it was, but yeah, they were in full damage control. I'm talking about. I mean, they're all in damage control. It's just one thing after another. It was one podcast is like, well, PlayStation VR isn't selling that well. Then you look at the data, and it's like, well, it's the top selling VR in the world. It's outsold Oculus, Vive, the Samsung VR. It's all combined. Yeah, all combined. Yeah, Angel, shout out to Angel Valentine here. He says PC people are begging for Horizon. You're right. I didn't believe it. I saw that petition. That's what I'm saying. I mean, the people are just out of control.
Yeah, I mean, you know, PC people have begged for a lot of stuff. You know, for them to be the master race, quote unquote. You know, it's been quite a few petitions going up for them. You know, begging for this and begging for that. You know, I'm like, man.
Yeah, well, to me, they got Star Citizen. So what else do you guys need? I don't know if you all on PC are playing Star Citizen, but if you have a chance to play that game, you won't want to play nothing else. You will go 3 to 5 hours a day on Star Citizen. So, and people like what's not out yet, but it's got so much on there. It's a ton to do. Now, Geo Parker said, now he says Horizon's the best new IP this gen. We have to wait and see. There's a lot. Yeah. There's some more IP coming down the pipeline.
I mean, but you know what? And I was explaining this to somebody else in the comment section and everything. I'm like, man, look. Now, when games come out, or like when we see games and stuff like that, you know, we go off the initial, you know, what we see and, you know, half-ass know what it's about and everything else like that, you know, because no one's actually played the game all the way through, you know, no one's, you know, actually played the game to see how it plays, see how it feels, none of that stuff. You know, we're going strictly off some superficial stuff that we've seen and everything else like that. And basically what we do is we make our assumptions about that. I mean, I can take it back to a couple of games. You know, when people thought it was the second coming of Christ, until it got closer to the game was supposed to come out, and people actually, and these reviewers actually got their hands on it and got to test it out and play it, and then come to find out that the story may be crap. You know, the gameplay mechanics may be clunky and generic or something like that. And then what we thought, you know, was a great game when we first seen it, by the time it actually releases, we know, hey, this game ain't trash. You know, this game really ain't what we thought it was.
Yeah, let me ask you this. Do you really think, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
Oh, you good.
Do you think Don Matrick, how bad do you think and this is hindsight, because, you know, Microsoft did what he wanted. They put the system together, the 360, and they put it out. So they didn't fail because the engineers did exactly what he wanted them to do. But how bad in hindsight do you think he hurt the brand, like on a scale from 1 to 10? Because I think everybody's in agreement that the 360 and then the PS2 are the two best. I mean, you want to throw the OG Xbox in there too. Those are the 3 best gaming consoles I've seen until this PS4 came out. But how bad do you think Don Matrick hurt the brand going from the 360 to the Xbox One?
Man, well, you know what? It's not even a matter of how bad I think he hurt it. You know, it's a matter of how bad everybody else think he hurt it. I mean, because and people spoke with their wallets, they spoke with their voices. You seen what happened, you know, E3 2013 when the Xbox One revealed. So that'll tell you right there how bad he hurt the brand.
Yeah, they booed him off the stage. And Jeff, Is it Jeff Keighley? Am I saying his name?
Keighley, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he tried to give him a chance to kind of back off, and then the guy just said, "Well, hey, look, if you don't have internet, you can just play your Xbox 360."
Hey, hey, he was gangsta on that shit. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah. He was gangsta on that one.
Yeah, I mean, he was pissed. I mean, he told the truth. I mean, let's just keep it real here. He told the truth, but the way he did it was just raw. I mean, like I said,
yeah.
Off the scab, you know. So,
yeah.
And I mean, what do you think? For the people that shout out to the eight or nine people watching, but Horizon Zero Dawn got pushed up. you're actually going to pick it up on Monday because the
great.
game came in a little bit. So yeah, so I started out my video with Horizon being pushed. I think everybody thought I was going to say push back, but let me tell you, and I said this earlier today on a video. So yeah, this is my second video today, folks.
Mm-hmm.
When I was trying to answer Randall Thor 19, one of the things I heard an Xbox gamer actually say was, this is after Horizon Zero Dawn, some of the early footage had come out. This guy actually said that they needed this game to be either pushed back or delayed or canceled or something because they don't have anything. So, and now you look at they're in full panic mode because it's the highest rated game. That's all opinion driven. It's the highest rated game this year. I mean, it's even higher rated than Resident Evil. Resident Evil is amazing. It's a fun game.
Yeah.
So do you think that, like you said, it's kind of going back to what you were saying earlier, you really think everything is stemming? I'm just keeping it 100 here, stemming from PSX then?
Oh man, I'm saying that's where all this stuff started. It started. That's where all the worry, all the doubt, all the all that kind of stuff started right after Sony showed a platter full of games and stuff like that, and Microsoft hasn't answered and stuff like that. Now I'll say this, with everything that Sony's shown, everything we know that's coming up, from PlayStation and everything else like that, and I'm not ruling out one or two more surprises come E3 and stuff like that, but let Microsoft have their stage to answer back, because you don't know what they're coming out with this year. I mean, they're not coming out with anything from now up until E3. At E3 they could have some surprises and stuff like that. Even if one or two unannounced games or something like that, launch later on this year or early next year, or even if they show a bunch of stuff that's coming up, basically, the same way that Sony did and everything. So at least they got these games in the pipeline and they got these games in the works and stuff like that.
I thought Sea of Thieves was coming out in April. That did not get confirmed?
I'm not sure what the release date was for it and everything. I mean, but that could just chalk it up to my to my ignorance, because I had no idea what the release date for that one is.
I mean, I tell you what, this is bad. If they're not gonna, and E3 is in June. So just for everybody out there, E3 is June. Now let me ask you, I guess you saw where Microsoft moved their event to Sunday. Now, they're not the first people who did this. A couple years ago, Bethesda did it when they announced Fallout and Doom and things like that. Do you think this is a good thing for Microsoft? That way they can kind of they'll have the stage to themselves, they'll have the media to themselves for 30 hours. How do you think Microsoft should play this? Do you think they should show? Do you think they're going to show the Scorpion, of course, or Scorpio? That's pretty much been confirmed. Do you think we get a price announcement at E3 and a release date?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's coming out this year, and this is the year it's supposed to be coming out. So E3 is their, that's their stage to show this thing and show everything that they're going to show about it and stuff like that. But here's something that I haven't seen anybody comment on or say anything on or even ask and everything. Now I know Microsoft moved the date of their press conference and everything like that. And even though they didn't actually confirm Scorpio reveal, everybody's just assuming that basically, because they said, just expect, big Scorpio news or whatever, that's just what it is. That's just what that means and stuff like that. Everybody's under the assumption that it's gonna, that the Scorpio reveal is gonna be at E3, and I'm not saying they're wrong for that. It's a pretty, it's a pretty solid assumption and everything. But here's the thing, though. Since they're not having a pre E3 reveal for the Scorpio, being that they moved the date, is that going to allow for them to have more time That's what I want to
No,
know.
they still have the same allotted time. I
See,
think the main thing it does is this Microsoft's all about the money first. Now, since this is a brand new product, I said this the other day. So this is a brand new product coming out. It's going to affect the stock market. I bet you on Monday, after they reveal this on Sunday, because this is brand new hardware, their market price goes up. But, it's the same thing when Apple releases a new iPhone or Samsung a new Galaxy. The next day, their stock always goes up. I mean, they could get somebody getting caught, in the office with a little girl. Their stock will always go up because they're about to make a new product. I think that's the main reason they're doing it. But they gotta. I do agree with shout out to Weapon Wheel. And I heard one of them say, and I can't remember which one it was on Saturday. They were one of those guys was saying that they getting out of Sony's way because that's not even a freight train anymore. It's one of those bullet trains you see in Europe. So it's just too big and too strong at this point.
I mean, but the thing is they've traditionally always gone first. Sony's always gone after them and stuff like that. So there ain't no getting out of, even if they didn't change the date or nothing like that, it was still going to be the same scenario. It's still going to be the same scenario. The only thing is that people have more time in between Microsoft's show and Sony's show now to talk about whatever it is Microsoft is going to do. I mean, that's basically all it is. Like instead of the media and everybody else and having 7 8 hours or so or something like that to talk about whatever Microsoft news.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, and then Sony has their show later on that night and everything. It's primarily now people just have more time to talk about whatever it is Microsoft is going to do.
Yeah, real quick, somebody in the chat. Again, I typed this out. Horizon got pushed to 6 p.m. on Monday Eastern Standard Time because they don't want a whole lot of people outside. And as far as GameStop is concerned, GameStop will stay open till 10:30 or 11 o'clock for people to come and pick the game up. Also, if you're still skittish about it, I understand because it's a new IP, it will be at Redbox Tuesday morning, whenever, I don't know how Redbox switches on, when they put their games in. But you can go to Redbox Tuesday morning on the 28th, and it'll be there. And I'll break this down. So will Mass Effect. Mass Effect will be there, and Grand Theft Auto 5 is in there now. So yeah, so that's another reason why they're doing it, is because it's coming out to rent as well. But I don't disagree with you. I just having somebody say PSX was it's like that thing on I'll use a Final Fantasy 15 reference. When that one dude comes out of the sky and he throws that bolt down?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I saw that dude today. I was like, damn,
Yeah.
But I guess that's what PSX did. It really hurt. It really shook their foundation down. I mean, here's what the Xbox community, this is for the people in the chat. The Xbox community has been reduced to talking about AMD chips and Ryzen chips and what the Xbox Scorpio may or may not have in it. That's a bad sign when you're not talking about Halo Wars 2 came out, this afternoon, or midnight last night and went to Walmart to pick it up. And they're more worried about the AAA games that Sony has and doesn't have. But Sony has always had its, 6 or 7 AAA games. If you really look at it, they have Uncharted, Little Big Planet 3. They have a Little Big Planet series, stuff like that. They've never been, and then The Last of Us, which is still by Naughty Dog. So, and Metal Gear, which is now canceled. There is no more Metal Gear. So, that studio closed down. So
I'll say this though, and kind of in defense of my Xbox brethren there, I will say this. before the PS4 Pro actually came out and stuff like that and everything, back when it was still the Neo and and stuff like that, that's what everybody was talking about and stuff like that. Just like Scorpio and everything else like that. Now, being that the Neo, or the Pro, is out and stuff like that, that's not a subject anymore. So you can focus on games. But before that thing came out, that was the subject of over over games mostly. I mean, because back then, this was before you knew about 3/4 of the games that's coming out for the PlayStation 4, that now. This is before you knew, the Uncharted DLC. This is before you knew Death Stranding. This is before you knew, God of War, whatever, and stuff like that, and everything. So
Yeah.
there wasn't much to talk about game wise for the PlayStation camp either. I mean, what the Pro was going to be, or the Neo at that time, what that thing was going to be, that was the subject of a whole lot of stuff. And now that time has come and gone, you can focus on the games. With Scorpio, that time hasn't come and gone. So we're still looking forward to what this thing is going to be and stuff like that.
Well,
Now,
they told people what it. Well, I mean, it's going to do what they say it's going to do. It's just that for the most part, most of the games are going to use a sparse rendering technique, which, like I said, is fine. I mean, it's going to fill out the pixel count correctly. So that's all I would worry about.
I've seen you say that before in the comment section and everything. Here's the thing. Nothing has ever said that they are going to mostly use sparse rendering. Nothing has said that.
Well, no, they've actually come out and said they will use a upscaling technique called sparse rendering. And that's how they'll get their older games to hit the 4K mark. I mean, it actually is a good technique to use. It's not saying anything bad. It's just that's a technique to get the 4K. You can do it natively too. Like I said, with brute force power. They're going to go that route as well. But developers, they may not have the cash on them to do brute force. So here's another pathway for them to go. It's not a bad thing. It's not like sparse rendering is terrible.
But the way you say it and the way you portray it, you're making it seem like that's what they're going to be doing
on their older titles.
The majority of the time. But here's the thing though. Here's the thing, and it's like a lot of people don't tie all the information together. It's like there's a bit of information over here on the left, or some information on the right, and people just don't connect it in the middle to get the full picture. Here's the thing. Phil Spencer has already said, any game that they have that I'll put it like this. Any game that's been on Xbox and PC, any game that's been on the Play Anywhere thing or whatever, or anything else like that, any game that's been on Xbox One and PC, if they have 4K assets on the PC version, they can use those 4K assets on Scorpio. It doesn't make a difference if the game is older or newer or whatever or anything like that. So they don't have to use sparse rendering or anything else like that. If that game has 4K assets from the PC version, they can use that for Scorpio.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not denying that that's not a technique they will go with. It's just they have to provide the developers with a way to get to 4K if they take advantage of it. Because remember, they've also have been confirmed saying it's up to the developers. I mean, the first party games, it will be 4K. I mean, those will be 4K native games. I mean, but shout out to the viewers watching, by the way. But I mean, it's sparse rendering. It's just another rendering. I mean, Star Citizen on the PC uses sparse rendering. Yeah, just using volumetric algorithms to get the 4K, and it's going to make it's going to make a guess on where to put the pixels. Now, that algorithm isn't as accurate as the checkerboarding technique, but the checkerboarding technique is also much more expensive for the developers to do. But sparse, I mean, they're going to get the 21. I mean, if an OG, I'm just going to think, let's say Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, that's one of my favorite games ever made. If they come out and they say, yeah, we're going to be able to get this game to 2160p through sparse rendering, I won't care, because I'll be like, oh yeah, that's Splinter Cell, Sam Fisher, dropping down on motherfuckers and ripping their necks like John Wick, so yeah, that's fine. I mean, like I said, it really depends on what the developers want to do. That's why I've said the people that's gaming, because he put up a good albeit boring. He put Mark Cerny with Sony. He put like a 6-minute video of him on what they intended the Pro to do, how they went and talked to the developers, and what the developers wanted. So, and what people have to understand about the Pro, like I said in another video, they've still got 16 to 18 more cores on it to unlock. They don't need it. They don't need to do it right now because the developers aren't demanding it. So it's just a matter of, will they demand it, and then what will those games look like? They will be able to do more 4K as well. But as of right now, if you're why give your whole hand out? If you're sitting there playing poker, I'm not going to show you my cards. I'm gonna make you guess. And I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm like, man, that's kind of fucked up. I mean, why gimp your customers? We're like not gimping the customer.
If you put out a machine, if you sell a machine and it's capable of doing most of these games, say like it's capable of doing Horizon Zero Dawn in native 4K, but you're holding back for
the developer,
whatever reason.
The developer doesn't need it. Again, the developer doesn't. It'd be like if you give me if you give me a model airplane, like I used to build model airplanes, and some of it I would use the entire instructional thing, and then sometimes I didn't have to get the plane to be there, to sit there. So I didn't. Sometimes you had to use glue on the wheels. Sometimes you didn't. But all they're doing, this is what any of them are going to do, which is they're going to give them the developer the tools. A giant toolkit. They say, okay, well, here's what you got. The developer say, well, I don't need this, and this. It's just the difference is what it sounds like on paper is that Microsoft saying, here's all the tools. We want you to use every tool here. And Sony was like, well, we're going to give you the same tool set, but we don't expect you to use all the tools. That doesn't mean eventually, look, if Naughty Dog calls Mark Cerny up and says, look, for this game that we're working on, whatever they're working on now, Last of Us 2. All right, and for The Last of Us 2, they may say we need 4 to 6 more cores unlocked. They'll unlock more cores because the developer is asking them to do it. They're not going to do it, though, if the developers can get away with not having to do it because it's cheaper. It's cheaper for the developer. Because Sony can always just send the signal and it will unlock those things. But yeah, they're just doing what was cost efficient for the developers. That's all. That's why even Phil Spencer said it's up to the developers to use all 6 teraflops. Because what if you make a game and you only need 3 teraflops? You're not going to keep saying, well, we can spend another $15 million developing another, more stuff, more assets, and we don't need it. We have deadlines. We got to get return on the investment. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's why they're going with sparse rendering, which will allow, say, you're the developer and I'm Microsoft, and I'm like, hey, you sure you don't want to try to get 2160p? We got this technique here. It may take you another 5 months to do your game, but if you go native, you're a businessman. If I come to you with 2 different business plans to get the same result, and one costs $2 million and the other one costs $1.3 million, which one are you going to more than likely approve if we're going to get the same result? More than likely. Yeah, that's all they're doing. That's all Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo is going to do. Because I mean, hell, there's games on the Xbox One now that don't use all the assets. You know, they just don't do it. You know, they just a game like, well, look at XCOM. You know, XCOM does not use every asset, doesn't use the HDR assets, I don't believe, on the Xbox One S. So they just.
But you know what? I think it was. I want to say it was Mads. I want to say it was him. And he brought up something good that that either I didn't know but once he said it, it made more sense to me. But like the reason that they're going, or the reason that they didn't have new hardware in the PlayStation 4 Pro, you know, the reason that they didn't do exactly the same thing Microsoft did was because they were scared that it would cause compatibility issues with the older PS4 titles. That's why when
which would in turn cost them what in return?
I mean, it would not it's not a matter of what it would cost them. It's a matter of now you put out this new console and none of your PS4 games are compatible with this thing.
Yeah, which they could have fixed. But what else did Mark Cerny say?
No. I mean, that was it. I mean, that's the reason why they went with.
It would have cost them more money to fix that problem, and they didn't have to do that. You're right. I mean, he's exactly right. It's about the money. Could they have went in and fixed it? Yes, but it would have cost them more time to do that, and it may not have worked. They may not have been able to get it to work. So this Pro guaranteed the VR would work well, which the people that had the VR that have matched it to the Pro, they've got no complaints so far. I mean, there may be somebody in the hospital right now with vertigo because the VR will cause that. But for the most part, that's what the Pro was made for. And then they just threw on some patches. I mean, look, I've seen the Uncharted patch, and some stuff does look better. But overall, it's kind of like, looks a little bit better. But your TV's doing an upscale too. You know, if you have a 4K TV, it's going to do upscaling, and then the PlayStation is going to do upscaling as well. So it's already going to look better. So, but yeah, now these games that are coming out now, like you were just talking about Horizon Zero Dawn, and later on down the road when we get, I guess, Mass Effect, they're going to start taking full advantage of what the Pro can do. And that's when you'll start seeing kind of a difference. Like I said, the Mass Effect build that I've seen, I told people this morning that listen, with the stuff that you're seeing is the PlayStation build. You've not seen the Xbox build yet. So because they're not going to show you that. So, but to me, the game's going to be fantastic. I'm gonna love it no matter what. So, but me, I had to go for the gusto. With Mass Effect. But no, Matt's is right. Yeah, I mean that was a great point. What you just made is the fear of not being able to work and then spending millions of dollars. They're not going to do that. That's bad business.
I don't even necessarily think it was about the money. It's the fact that you have the PS4. Right. the PS4 Slim, and then you're coming out with the PS4 Pro and everything, which is supposed to be, a upgraded PS4. But if regular PS4 games don't work in it, you had a problem. And stuff, that's not about the money or nothing like that. That's about, man, you bought a console. And now none of our customers' games work on this console and stuff like that. So so that's why when it first came out and stuff like that, that's why your PS4 Pro worked just like a regular PS4 when you put a regular PS4 game into it. It didn't use any of that second GPU. It ran at the same clock speed as the regular PS4. It was essentially mimicking a basic PS4, and that was to make sure that the PS4 games worked. and everything.
Well,
That's why,
and also,
and that's why, when you have this boost mode on there, they've upclocked the CPU, they upclocked the GPU and stuff like that, and that's and even though it works for the majority of games and stuff like that, there are still a few games that it makes it crash and stuff like that,
oh yeah,
and
the
that's
Final Fantasy 15 build, they just updated that today to get it to do 1080p and 60. It's already 1080p. And
yeah.
they're gonna have to put another patch on there to help stabilize it because it's bad.
Yeah,
It's
I heard that
like
was
when
horrible.
it's like when they did Witcher, when CD Projekt Red updated Witcher. And I guess not Sony that's updating the game. Well, I guess it is because they're mandating that they have to update it. But based on what you said, that's exactly right. So when they already have games out, so they have assets in the field, all they did was try to patch some of the games to their first party games patched fine, but the other games and the Tomb Raider that was nice too. That patch was real good too. But
yeah, I mean, I think that Final Fantasy, I think that Final Fantasy thing is just in a little section off to itself. I think that specifically has to do with just that certain patch and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, they and again, yeah, I know CD Projekt Red with Witcher 3 had the exact same problem. I remember getting that second update, and that game played like crap. I mean, I literally didn't play it for 2 weeks, and a new patch came in that stabilized the new stabilization. It's like the reinforcement needed more reinforcement. So, but and they couldn't do it all at the same time. But yeah, pretty much if they're going to Sony, yeah, Mark Cerny pretty much said when you have assets like all these games out in the field, like 400 plus games out in the field, you don't want to cut those people off. And
exactly,
now they'll do it with the PS5. They won't care. They'll be like, well, we may bring some of the PS4 games with us, but we ain't gonna bring you all.
Right.
So
right.
But
see now the thing is they would have put all new, they would have put, more guts into it or different stuff into it.
Yeah.
If they could have, if they weren't worried about compatibility and stuff like that. Now, that's the difference between how Microsoft, how Microsoft makes their consoles and their games and stuff like that, because Microsoft doesn't have to worry about that issue and stuff like that, like as far as the compatibility and everything else like that, because all that stuff runs off Windows 10 anyway.
Yeah, and again, they had to build the emulators. So yeah, but you're right. I mean, they did their and their backwards compatibility. Like I've told people before, if that's what people wanted, they gave them.
Not for the backwards compatibility for the 360 games. I'm talking about from Xbox One to Scorpio, being that the Xbox One is a Windows 10 device and Scorpio is a Windows 10 device, and all these games are, basically Windows 10, Windows 10 games now, stuff like that. There's no compatibility issue. So Microsoft doesn't have to worry about, well, hey, we, if we make Scorpio, we have to make sure that these, older Xbox One games still work on the Scorpio. So we may have to gimp the Scorpio in order just to get the compatibility to make sure that these older Xbox One games work. Microsoft doesn't have that problem, so they can put new hardware in there and get the performance and hit the performance spec that they wanted and not have to worry about compatibility holding them back, between Xbox One and Scorpio. And that's the issue that Sony ran into. That's why, granted, they made the best with what they had and stuff like that. And they put, and they, went with the checkerboard rendering and everything else like that, because they couldn't put new guts in there, to get a higher performance spec, because they had to make sure that, the stuff they put in there was still compatible with all the PS4 games that was out now.
Well, yeah, I mean, they've said that, and I mean, as far as what Microsoft is doing, yeah, they're all, again, from what I got told over the weekend, all of their older games should work fine on the Scorpio because they're using the universal Windows platform. So It's that's their issue at this point is, were they going to just port the original over, or allow the developers to go back in and use some different rendering and anti-alias sampling techniques to give their games a better quality, kind of a brush up, but that's where they're at. They made their decision on that, what they're going to do. That's why you can buy Knights of the Old Republic and stuff like that off the Windows Store, because then if you have a Scorpio, you'll just use the Windows Store to go into the Scorpio. It'll play fine, and then you'll get a boost on him. But like I said, I mean, I think it's going to work. that's why I was asking you before. Do you think we get a price point, and which to me is the most important thing? Forget about everything else. If you don't have a good price, then it doesn't. Like I said before, I bought a Sony laser disc like back in '93. Walked into Sears, which is now defunct now. For all you people in the chat, Sears used to be this cool store, had cool electronics. First thing I bought with my Sears card, Sony laser disc. Bought Jaws and bought Blue Thunder, the movie, and walked out of there paying $488, and there's no more laser discs. I can't even get on eBay, so because of the price. I mean, the laser disc had superior pictures, superior sound. The state of the art sound had at the time 5.1 was a big deal,
Now what you just said is something that people overlook a lot and stuff like that. It was a high price point, but that Sony Laserdisc was a high price point, but it had superior this, superior that, quality this, quality that, and stuff like that. And it's like people forget that with the Scorpio. Even, say it does have a high price tag. But just for instance, let's just say it does have a high price tag. If what they show is worth that high price tag,
well, that's a consumer. That's what the consumer is going to have to ultimately decide, So I say if it hits, I think they can get away with they can get away with if it does everything they say. You're going to let people play all the old games. I'm talking about back to the original stuff. I can understand if they say, because what I was told is that a lot of physical stuff won't work. It's going to be mostly digital. It's far easier for them to do digital stuff.
Who said that? I mean, why would anybody think that?
That's what somebody who manages a Best Buy told me. It's not a bad thing.
Man, it's
not a bad thing.
I put it to you like this. That's some crap right there. I mean, because there ain't no way that they're gonna put out a console and you can't take your physical disc, your physical Xbox One disc, and put it in this machine and work and make it work. That defeats much of what they want.
A lot of the older games very well may be digital. I mean, they're still going to work. You can still take them anywhere. You can still take it from your PC to your whatever, to your laptop. If you got a Windows, it will still do the same thing. It'll just be streamed, meaning that you will digitally download I'm talking about the older games, the stuff on the OG Xbox, not the 360 and stuff like that.
I haven't heard anybody, I haven't heard anything about Scorpio being able to play, old Xbox, original.
Well, that's
Xbox
one of the goals. One of the goals they set out to do was to play the old Xbox stuff. If you're just going to give people the ability to do Xbox 360 games, they can just still play their Xbox 360. I mean, you get an Xbox 360, which is fine. Like I said, I think the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 2, and maybe you can throw the OG Xbox in there, were the better gaming consoles until the PS4 came out. So with that said, if you really think about it, it's speculation, but eventually Microsoft is going to start briefing people here in the next few weeks, because the people that are going to carry the system, they got to know when people are going to come in and ask them a bunch of questions about it, which will be right after E3. they'll be like, oh, you know, you're gonna have to be. So their classes will start with those guys here in the next, I'd say probably right after Ghost Recon comes out. They'll have to go to class, or Microsoft will do those webinars or whatever they're called, and they'll let them know what the Scorpion is. So, but from what my understanding is, one of the things that they could target to get it to play all the old Xbox games is just let you digitally download the game. And then you can play, and then you can still, if you want to play it on your PC outside by the pool, you can do that. You can then bring the game in. If you have it hooked up on your TV, your 4K TV, you can just universally put it to that, which that's one of the things they're going for. But again, I think they'll be able to hit it. For me as a consumer, I need to see what the price is. Like I said, I think they can get away with $449 because they're not doing first party VR as far as making their own headset. They're going to release some stuff though. I think there's some stuff coming out here soon about it because they are jumping into the VR market, which is great. That Sony and hopefully Nintendo does something,
Yeah. Right now, that's VR, that stuff really, it's not, it's not a big deal. It was a big topic before it actually hit. And then, after it actually came out and released and stuff like that and everything, it hasn't taken the world by storm. It's still, it's still off in its own small little corner and stuff. It hasn't gone mainstream or nothing like that. So there's no rush to really push VR for nothing like that and everything. Unless you got the software to do it. Unless you got some really good VR software and some hardware, powerful enough to make it, to actually push that software and make it worthwhile and stuff like that, then maybe.
Yeah, well, they've yeah, like I said, I know I think the AMD was either the 480 or the 486 card will do VR minimum. And I know what to do because I'm gonna have a PC built. That's the card I'm going with because it can do 4K 30, and that's I won't. And there's nothing because I've talked back and forth with a couple people, and they said, look, you really just want to be at between 900 and 1440 and have an open frame rate. They said once you see something in open frame rates, it's hard to go back. Which they're right. I played Tomb Raider in that 1080p mode for like for 2 hours. Because I prefer the 4K mode. The 1080p mode, it was unlocked, and it would be, sometime it would go from 60 to 70. It was just an unlocked frame rate. It was actually pretty cool. She was harder to control. That's why I've told people about unlocked frame rates. The physics change.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't see the attraction with unlocked frame rates or nothing like that. I would want something to be a consistent, smooth, pace. I don't want it, to jump from 60, then go up to 75, then go back down to 64, then jump up to 79 or something like that. I'm like, man, it's a higher frame rate, yeah, but it's still bouncing. And stuff like that. So, it's still changing. And, and if if you can notice that change, then it's going to mess with you regardless.
Yeah. Also, what do you think this, for the people who are watching, so shout out to them. There is a day one patch for Horizon Zero Dawn. What do you think the day one patch will be?
From I think, now this is me trying to remember here. I think it may be a little speculation as well, but I think they were trying to do maybe like a higher frame rate mode or something like that. Okay. So,
because I know the original builds are locked at 30, right? That's
at 30, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So they may have something where they try to drop the resolution and try to up the frame rate.
Well, yeah,
Other
Gil Parker is saying that it's a 60 FPS mode for the Pro, but I'm asking him, is it going to be a 4K 60
nah,
FPS or?
nah, I guarantee you, I guarantee you it's not, because right now the base mode is, it's being checkerboard rendered, you know,
Yeah, the
4K
upscale, yeah.
at yeah, it's being upscaled at 30 and stuff
Yeah,
like that, and it's holding solid. It's doing good.
yeah,
Both the Pro and the PS4, they're holding that 30 pretty strong and
yeah.
stuff like that. So I don't think they'll try to push that up to 60 and stuff like that. Not without having to drop that resolution to make sure it hits that 60.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
so
mean, if it hits 60, I mean, again, to me, it's an RPG. It does not need to. I mean, this is just me talking. I understand a game like a Titanfall wanting to be close to 60 or something like that. But a game like an Uncharted or Tomb Raider, this is just me, Witcher 3. I don't see the benefit of it moving at 60. But that's me. I mean, I'm not complaining. If Jill's right,
you know what? It is a RPG, but you got to remember it's also an action RPG, just like Neo
yeah,
and stuff like that.
that's a good point.
there are so having that higher smooth, that buttery smoothness frame rate and stuff like that, I don't think it'll hurt it at all. Even if it is an RPG, it's still an action RPG. It's still you still got a lot of stuff going on in there.
Yeah, so it looks like it's gonna have a 1080p 60 FPS mode and a 4K 30 mode.
4K. I mean, that's what I'm guessing. If they do something like that, that's just my best guess.
That's exactly what Tomb Raider did. Except Tomb Raider had 3 modes. The first 1080p mode was 1080p 30, but it was turned all the way up graphically. Looked really good with the anti soup sampling and stuff like that. The 1080p 60, or the unlocked one that we were just talking about, it turned down some of the assets. That's going to be, and I'll tell people in the chat, that will be one of the differences in the Xbox Scorpio, is that it will be able to run the thing and not have to turn any assets down. Let me preface that by saying, if the developers do that, So now Microsoft's first party games, like the driving game and then Gears of War, stuff like that's going to be a 4K, either 4K 30 native or 4K 60 native. It's somebody wants to ask a question. Yeah, go ahead, Geo Parker. Yeah, you can ask a question. Hurry up, though. So it's midnight, midnight Eastern time. Yeah, you can ask a question. So, yeah, Widowmaker, you're on the West Coast. You're on West Coast time, right, Widow?
Actually, I'm in Illinois.
All right, so you're Central time. All right, so he's at 11 o'clock. So, yeah. I mean, I'm off tomorrow. I'm good. But if you got anybody in the chat room that has a
Hey, I'm off tomorrow too, so I'm good, man.
All right, so we're both good. It says, why is Widowmaker such a Xbox fanboy? Well, I'll answer quick then. He's a grown-ass man. He can answer. I tell you what, at the Xbox brand, there's nothing wrong with the brand. It's just here in the last, and I don't know if you heard the beginning of what we were talking about. Widowmaker went in on why the Xbox fanboys are in meltdown. I mean, that's one reason why I'm glad he's here, because, he is an Xbox fan more than me. I mean, I like the Xbox, but I understand it is what it is. But Widow coming at it, admitting, I'll go ahead and let him just tell you.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you like this. That's fine. You can call me an Xbox fanboy if you want to. That's fine. It doesn't bother me at all. I'll tell you to your face, and I'll tell you straight up, I'm an Xbox dude. I prefer Xbox. I like Xbox and stuff like that. I have no problem with that. But what you won't get from me is some bull. I have no problems saying, hey, saying the truth. about anything, whether it makes Xbox look good, whether it makes Xbox look bad. I have no problem saying the truth. If it's true, I'll say that shit.
Yeah.
So theoretically, you can't really call me a fanboy. I mean, because
I agree. Yeah,
because I can sit there. How many fanboys can you say? Well, how many Xbox fanboys don't have a problem with saying, "Hey, Sony's spanking that ass this gen," and shit like that.
Yeah.
Sony, regardless of what you say about Sony's exclusives, whether they're AAA, AA, whatever, something like that, they are producing more games than the Xbox, regardless of how you feel about those games. That's just the plain honest truth. If you put all the games out in the list, Sony will have more games. Whether you like them or not.
Yeah.
It's just the truth. How many fanboys can admit to that shit? How many Xbox fanboys don't have a problem saying that?
I don't disagree. That's why, like, you saying that and then ran out Thor 19 saying, why is everybody, did you see his video? Ran out Thor's video?
Yeah. I think I didn't finish all of it because some other stuff came up, but
yeah.
I seen that you had made a response to it, so I went and tried to check it out and stuff like that and see what he was saying. But I don't think I finished it all though.
Yeah, I mean, but he was pretty much saying the same thing. To me, in his video, he answered his own question. He said it was almost like he was like, well, I want to play, I would like to play those games. That's why I said he said, I would like to play The Last of Us and Uncharted and stuff like that. Yeah, that's what I said in my video response. Well, if you're already going to get a Scorpio, which, all right, he has said publicly he was going to get, then just go ahead and trade in your Xbox One S that you do have and just get the PlayStation and you can play those games. And when Scorpio comes out, when Scorpio comes out,
take a shot.
Get the Scorpio.
Yeah, you know what? Hey, you know what? That's a good plan. Because I think the way they do that right now, say like if you traded in your Xbox for another Xbox console, say, you may only get so much, but if you trade that Xbox in for a PlayStation, you'll get even more.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to have some kind of plan.
I think GameStop and stuff like that. I think they've done some stuff like that before in the past. So that could be it. Just save up, buy your Scorpio. Then, like if you got an Xbox Slim or something like that, trade that in for a PS4 Slim or whatever and something like that, and there you go. You can play everything you want.
Yeah, and I'll tell anybody now, if you want an Xbox One S, and he asked another question, but let me make this statement first. If you want an Xbox One S, get it this holiday because you'll probably be able to find like the 2 terabyte one for probably $199 because a lot of people are going to trade those in on the Scorpio. That's a fact. I mean, Microsoft's already anticipating that. So, but his other question is, do you think Halo Wars 2 will flop like Gears 4? I'll answer this first. Gears 4 did not flop. It underperformed. I mean, you got to understand there's a difference in something that's outright being a flop and then underperforming. So the Gears sell as good as Gears 1, 2, and 3? No. I think Gears 4 did outsell Gears Judgment, but Gears Judgment was a flop. I mean, there's your flop right there. Halo Wars 1 sold close to 3 million. So do I think Halo Wars 2 would do 2.5 to 3 million? Probably not, but we have to wait and see. Like Widow said, it just came out. But go ahead, Widow.
And I say, you said Halo Wars 1 did like 2 to 3 million or something like that. And over what time frame? Because I'm pretty sure that didn't come out, didn't come out the gate selling like that.
Yeah, it was right on the cusp of it came out like 6 months after, what was it, ODST. I think it came out like 6 months after ODST, but a lot of people didn't like it because they thought it was going to be another shooter, and it was a real-time strategy game, and I liked it. I'm like, look, if you like the Halo lore, what's really going on, Halo Wars 2, it gave you a much bigger scale on how big that fight was, and why you see why they had to make the Spartan program. because there was no way for the humans to win that fight. They even went into that with the Halo Reach, which Halo Reach got shitted on by the Xbox community. Why? Because what did they say? Well, they were like, hey, it doesn't have good online play. It's kind of like them play it for the campaign, and they were like, yeah, that's the way they are. You know,
I'll tell you, man. Look, I tell you like this. I've played Halo 1, 2, I think 3, and I got Reach. I think I skipped, if there was a 4, I think I skipped it or something like that. And man, ever since the first Halo, it's been the multiplayer. I finished the story for the first one. I think I finished the story for the second one. I haven't even finished the story for the third one or nothing like that. But because, it's the multiplayer that draws me to Halo, or what did draw me to Halo, because I've lost my taste for Halo like a long time ago and stuff like that. Like, I got played out after 2 and stuff like that, and I played some of 4. I mean, I'm not 4, but Reach and stuff like that. I think that was the last one that I actually really played and stuff like that. But it's always been the multiplayer. That's just like for me personally, for Call of Duty, my nigga, I don't think I've ever finished a campaign for Call of Duty. I don't even bother with it. I go straight to the multiplayer because that's what it's about for me and stuff like that. So,
yeah,
but
as far as Halo Reach was
as far as the
go ahead.
I'm about to say, as far as the Halo Wars 2 thing and stuff like that, I don't know. I honestly really have no idea how that game is going to do or whatever and stuff like that, because I'm not a real big, real time, real strategy shooter or anything else like that. So, that's not my genre.
Yeah.
Or anything else like that. So, I really don't keep too much tabs on it. So I really have no idea how big that market for it is, or how or how many people actually like it, like that type of thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, now
like that, so I have no idea.
He asked, do we think the abysmal review score will impact Halo Wars 2? And I told him not for the hardcore folks, but the casual guys may sit it out. I mean, my question would be for you, Gio, would be you have the only other RTS that's really out on console is XCOM, and I don't think Halo Wars is as good as XCOM, but I don't think Halo's as good as XCOM, but you have to really see what XCOM score was. I think XCOM was either a 8.2 or it was something like that. It was a decent score for an RTS.
Let me what was Gravity Rush 2 score? Does anybody know?
I think it was in the low 80s. I mean, not bad for a port. I mean, Gravity Rush is a Vita game. Gravity Rush 2, they put on the PlayStation, and it sold well in Japan. That was their target audience. It's an okay game. So our girlfriend, she likes playing it, but she likes just making her flip around.
I mean, because from what I've seen, some initial numbers came in, and that thing has done 148,000 worldwide.
US?
No, worldwide.
Oh, worldwide, yeah, and then all right, yeah, now
148,000 worldwide.
Yeah, and then you would have to go back and to see if that's a flop. What did the original Gravity Rush sell? It's just like people were saying that. Yeah, and that's what we. It's just like I do, because I do movie reviews. It's kind of like, okay, Avengers 1 came out and made this much. Avengers 2 came out and made this much. Well, Avengers 2 didn't make as much opening weekend as Avengers 1. Does that mean Avengers 2 is a failure? No. I'll tell everybody this. Empire Strikes Back made less money than Star Wars did. A lot of people don't know that. Everybody thinks Empire made all that money. No. Empire made way less than Star Wars did. And it was bigger. It was more marketed and everything. But, I'm not for sure what the original Gravity Rush did, honestly. But I don't think they expected huge numbers.
I mean, I don't know.
It's fun to play. It is
But
fun
you
to
know
play.
what they expect and what it does and stuff like that is, the expectation has no impact on what it does or anything else like that. You can expect anything to do good or do bad, and it can do the opposite.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
of whatever and everything. But I'm looking at it like this: Gravity Rush 2 is a PS4 exclusive, correct?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Okay.
that it came out. The problem with
There,
Gravity Rush is that it came out either the week after. I think it came out the week after Yakuza Zero came out,
but here's the
and
thing.
Yakuza did very well.
Here's the thing though. Yakuza Zero isn't new. Yakuza Zero came out in 2015. That thing launched in Japan in 2015 on the PS4 and PS3. So we were just now getting it over here in this. We were just now getting it here in the States and stuff
Yeah, and
like
that's a
that.
straight port because it's subtitle.
So
It's fun to play, but
you know,
you
so,
got to read the subtitles.
so it's not like that was a brand new game. That stole Gravity Rush's 2 Thunder. That game is over a year old.
Yeah, but it's
And
more
stuff like that.
recognizable. But if you went to the average gamer and you said Yakuza, you would know about, because you would see Yakuza in all the Game Informer magazines. As a matter of fact, Sleeping Dogs, everybody thought that was part of the Yakuza series. It technically was. I can't remember the name of those games that came out. It was supposed to be the third one of something, but they changed it to Sleeping Dogs. But that's kind of the way Yakuza plays, is like Sleeping Dogs. But
I mean,
I don't
the way
yeah, go ahead. I'm
I mean,
sorry.
like the way I base if something is a flop or not, it's and it's actually worse for PlayStation games and stuff like that because you have such high console sales. The higher the console sales, the higher the install base, the higher the game sales should be because there are more people to buy those games and stuff like that. So
Well, in theory,
you
you're
know,
right. But they're gonna base.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I would base Gravity Rush.
but the thing is, that's what developers look at though, right? I mean, when they decide on, if they're going to make their game multiplayer, if they're going to do this, if they're going to do that, stuff like that, they look at the install base and stuff like that. People have said this numerous times, especially when it works out in PlayStation's favor, because, PlayStation has a higher install base for this, so developers will put their game on this because it has a higher install base than the Xbox One and stuff like that. People have been saying that for a while. So,
well, you're applying a westernized standard to all their games. The Japanese standard, like Neo, all right, Neo to the US audience is a great example. Based on the money that the developer spent on it in Japan, that's a huge game. Based on their marketing, based on how they market, their marketing for their games are. In the United States, however, they're going to say it's not a AAA game because it didn't cost them $30 million to make the game. I'm just putting a number out there. But Neo in Japanese, over in that culture setting, it is a big game. It's just like Gravity Rush is. I don't know what Gravity Rush 2 did in Japan, but if it only did 100,000,
it did like 74, 75,000 in Japan.
Okay, now was it released for the Vita and the PS4, or was it just for the PS4?
No, it's a Gravity Rush 2 is a PS4 exclusive, right?
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. See, the Japanese market is mostly mobile, so that's why the Vita. And I'm not making any excuses for it. The Vita sales, the portable stuff over there, those games are going to do better. Now, let's just say they port Gravity Rush 2 to the Vita. That may be what they're waiting on. They may say, all right, let's just put it back on the Vita. Like I said, I don't know if it's console only in Japan or if it's and it may be because they may be trying to get Japan to buy more consoles. But
as far as I know, Gravity Rush 2 has always, every exclusive list that the PS4 gamers come out with, Gravity Rush 2 is on there. It's from my knowledge, it's a PS4 exclusive. It's only on the PS4.
Well, yeah, I think it is, and that's why I said I would have to see how much Gravity Rush, the original one, sold before I could declare it a bomb. But I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying it. I don't know if it is or not.
Like I was saying, like I was saying, it's like, man, for me, I look at the install base and stuff like that. I'm like, if you got, 50 million potential if you got 50 million consoles out there, that means you have 50 million potential customers for this game if you launch it worldwide. So when you launch this game worldwide, and out of 50 million, you sell 148,000.
Yeah.
That's
but what
not
about
good.
The fact when Sony's president has said, is on the record as saying that they'll make 10 of those games, and they'll only 3 of them will be a huge success.
We'll make the money. Yeah. I mean, and and that's fine and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, I guess Gravity Rush 2 is one of those games that didn't make them the money.
Exactly, but then you look at Yakuza and Neo, that's making them money. Same small, same type, same genre of game, sorta. Catered to that audience. Neo's a little more westernized. But the only Japanese RPG that's totally westernized is Final Fantasy. All the Final Fantasies are, and that's why they do so well and they're so beloved. The other titles, they're exclusive titles.
Has any actual sales numbers come in for Neo?
They won't come in until the March MPD. Because the game released in February. I've seen some of the raw data MPD, but it has not been. They haven't processed it out yet. But it's just like with. I'll
put it like this. The only thing we know of Neo, like I said, is that is the UK is where it charted at in its debut week in the UK, and it came in. It beat everything except.
Except Grand
Theft Auto 4, but it still didn't say work.
And numbers.
That was just for a week. That was just for its debut week.
And the number in February is always skewed because February is a shorter month, so it's got 1 to 2 less days. Depending on if it's a leap year. So February is always a month that I won't ever say is a throwaway month because all sales are important if you're in that business. But it's just kind of all right. I mean, there's a reason why they put Gravity Rush, Yakuza, Neo, and Nier all out, before the big, before your big middle of the batting lineup comes up. Because again, Horizon is the premier game.
Man, they
1 month. It gets a 1 month run, then Mass Effect comes out. Then it gets roughly a 3-week run. Then Ghost Recon comes out, and then it gets maybe a 2-week run. Then MLB The Show comes out. They'll be jumping up and down, and then in May, Persona 5. Now, see, Persona 5 is kind of that's the big JRPG that I'm waiting on, and that's why I've said to people before. You got to look at the Japanese market. You look at they've released The Last Guardian, Nier Automata, Neo, Yakuza, and Persona 5. Those are 5, and let's just see what they do. Now, I know with The Last Guardian, people are saying flop, but when you compare it to Shadow of the Colossus and Ico, which are the first 2 games in that series, it did roughly the same number. I think it did a little bit better. It didn't do as good as Shadow of the Colossus, but it did better than Ico. So it kind of came in right where they thought it was going to be. So, but we have that's just the facts. That's not. I got The Last Guardian, but I like parts of it. That thing never did poop. At least that's what I was waiting on it to do. I had a little buzz going like, well, it won't poop. What is this thing? So. But that's what I was waiting on it to do. But overall, it was a fun game because you had to solve some pretty crazy puzzles. So again, if you like solving puzzles, that was a great game for you. If you want action and stuff shooting at you, and you got to take cover and call in the B2 and get one man army. The Last Guardian, not the game.
Yeah, and you know, I've gotten into it. You know, I've gotten into the comment section wars with people and stuff like that, and I go back and forth and stuff like that. And you know, I can be pretty harsh, and so can the other people and stuff like that. But you know, and when it actually comes down to the come down, it doesn't make a difference if a game flops. It doesn't make a difference if a game sold 1 million or if you're the only motherfucker that bought it. It doesn't make a difference because nobody can tell you what's fun for you. Because once you leave GameStop or once you leave Best Buy or once that game finished downloading and stuff like that, you at home, you in your space, you in your living room, your bedroom, your game room, your man cave, wherever the hell you at, you in your own space. And I guarantee you ain't worried about what the next door neighbor playing, what Jimmy down the street is playing, what so-and-so else is playing and stuff like that. You just worried about, man, hey, I got this game and I'm playing the hell out this game because this game is fun to me. I don't care what the reviews are. I don't care if it got a 3 on Metacritic. Well, you know what? Hey, if they would have asked me, it fucking would have been a 4 on Metacritic because I like this motherfucker too.
Yeah,
you know,
facts.
I don't care if the rest of the 97 people didn't like it. I liked it, and yeah,
that's why I've said that people are looking for validation.
Yeah, I mean, no amount of review scores, no amount of sales numbers, no amount of stuff, none like that can tell you what's fun for you.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, I mean, to me, the validation is picking up the extra shifts at work, getting the extra money, and walking into the store and buying what I want to buy. And that's enough validation for me. I don't need a Metacritic or GameSpot or whatever game what you want to name it. Pull it out of your you-know-what. GameSpot, whatever, Gaming for Day, whatever those things are. Okay, I saw Horizon Zero Dawn in I think they showed that at E3 2015. And when I saw the girl, when I saw, hey, they're going to build a game around a woman of color, I was going to buy that game regardless, period. And now the fact that it's come in is highly reviewed and they're saying that she's going to be taking the spot. This franchise will take the place of Uncharted. Okay, that's lofty to say that. It's nice to say that. But Uncharted 4 sold damn near 9 million copies. So when it gets into that kind of air, when you can get in that kind of house, then you start bragging about it. It's like there's people online now, like I said earlier, they're trying to compare Horizon Zero Dawn, saying it's going to be the Zelda killer. And that can't be, because Zelda has been out since I was a kid. I mean, I was 13 years old playing Zelda. So, the problem with Zelda is that it's on the Switch, and the Switch, they didn't make a whole lot of them. They shorted them to cause a shortage for them.
I have no idea why they even brought that up. I mean, I have no idea why they, why people even said that.
Let me answer. Because they're in total meltdown, and they need to be able to say it didn't do as good as Zelda. That's why they're online right now on Twitter and things like that. They're trying to spoil the game for people.
But isn't saying that it's the Zelda killer, isn't that a compliment towards Horizon Zero Dawn?
It is yes and no. So see, the Xbox fanboys though, they're gonna be when the Switch came, when they unveiled the Switch, people made fun of it, especially the Xbox community. They're like, oh, it's weak, it's this and that. But here they are on their knees hoping that Zelda comes out and crushes Horizon Zero Dawn. I mean, that's how bad it is for that Xbox community. So,
I mean, I haven't seen any of the videos on that, so I don't know what they've said. But if they've called this game the Zelda killer, they're not saying anything bad about Horizon Zero Dawn. Just strictly calling it, just by calling it that title alone is saying that, man, this game is going to murder Zelda Breath of the Wild when it comes out. I don't think it will.
Craig,
Craig, 55 million 55 million PS4 consoles in people's homes.
Right.
Horizon Zero Dawn, the game everybody's been waiting for. You don't think this game is going to murder almost anything that comes out in this time frame?
The only game that I would compare it to that's coming out in the same, well, I mean, I guess you will have to wait and see. I'm waiting to see what it's going to do against Halo because Halo came out before it. I don't know enough about Zelda Breath of the. I mean, I know it looked good on that unveil that Nintendo had. I was like, wow. You know, I saw that, and then that open world Mario game. I was like, wow on that too. So,
well, you know what?
I wouldn't call it a Zelda killer.
I mean, it's not gonna. I think you're looking at it as like Zelda the franchise and stuff like that. But
the franchise of Zelda has been around since what, like
exactly. I mean, Horizon Zero Dawn is not going to do anything towards Zelda the franchise. That's established. That's a mountain. That's, you know, and Horizon Zero Dawn is a pebble right now. So and stuff like that. So, but Zelda Breath of the Wild, that's just a stone on that mountain right now. So So Horizon Zero Dawn can come out and be a bigger stone than that one. Now,
well, it could be. I understand. Well, when you put it like that, I understand what you're saying. But why compare a established franchise to a brand new IP? I know the company's been around. The company has been around and made games, but this is their first open world Guerrilla Games. First open. I mean, to me, compared to Witcher 3. That's what I was telling somebody today. I said, look, it needs to be compared to Witcher 3. It may be the Witcher 3 killer, but it may be compared a little bit to Tomb Raider. That's what Xbox really trying to compare it to. I'm like, I ain't like Tomb Raider.
I mean, I say like this. Don't compare it to anything. It's a brand new IP. Let it come into its own. Let the game come out. Let somebody play it from beginning to end, see what the hell this thing is about. And then, let us see, once this game actually gets in people's hands and people play it and shit like that, then let us see what this game is, and then what to put next to it. If you decide to put anything next to it to compare it at all. And everything,
let the person at least be 10 hours in, because what I understand, 10 hours is about 1/4 of the game. So
let the game come out, let it come into its own. Right now it's dumb to compare it to anything. It's especially Zelda Breath of the Wild.
I mean, the only thing I can compare it to, it's just like because it's gonna have one day in February, so the MPD on it won't truly be out. And I'm just telling everybody now, it won't truly be out until April, because they will more than likely, they can count the one day it comes out. They already know roughly how many sales it has right now based on pre-order. Yeah, but now you have to figure it's like a concert. There's always a concert. They say sold out, but they always have like 1,000 tickets for walk-ups, So they've got more stuff in. I mean, it's in the store now. It got delivered today, which surprised everybody. That's why it's going on sale on Monday.
Oh man, look, I'm telling you like this. And as someone so adequately put it in the comment section, I'm an Xbox fanboy and stuff like this, but I'm gonna tell you this. 55 million PS4 consoles sold out there. This game has been this has been the game that people have been itching for a long time. I guarantee you, man, this game is going to do something astronomical day one.
Well, I think in the long run, and I'll look at the number at the end of the year, and I've already said 2.8 million, which for a brand new IP is really, really good. The game that's going to be the hot mama will be Mass Effect, not because I'm a Mass Effect fanboy, but because there are actually people that are going to buy that game that have never played Mass Effect. They're just going to go ahead and buy it because it looks real cool. I'm like, well, That's why I did my video today. Like, all right, if you get it on the Xbox, it ain't gonna look like that. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be a bungho, but that build that you get on the Xbox is not gonna look anything like that. So it's just not. It's just, I mean, it looks good. It's not gonna look terrible, but it ain't gonna look like that. So I don't want to see people saying it looks like ass, because I will go in on them. You're like, look, if you got it on the you're looking at it at 900p and it's having dynamic scaling on it, it's not gonna look that good. You know. But I've always said, look at it now, like that combat trailer. Look at that girl's face now, and then compare it to the girl with the same girl's face at the VGA, because it looked like that girl had Botox and could barely move her face. You see her face now; it's actually, she's smiling and she's, you know, laughing and stuff like that. I'm like, wow, they've really done a real good job. So, you know, on this game. So, but to me, I'm afraid because it hasn't gone gold yet. So,
man, you know what? And you know what? I've thought this, but I've never brought it up to anything and stuff like that. I'm like, man, you know what? For this game to be this close to release, it's been pretty quiet.
Well, they just did the combat trailer. That came out Friday, either Thursday afternoon or Friday morning. BioWare did drop that. I guess that's what, the 18th. So they just did have that, and yeah, they got to say something about the multiplayer. They've done a whole lot.
Man, I was talking about Horizon and stuff like that. I was like,
Horizon?
Man, yeah. I was like, man, you know, it's you know, it's this game is literally knocking on the damn door, and like, man, and you know, it's like, you know, I thought there would have been more, you know, just more going on about it. It's
been big. They got the commercial when the guy says, that guy says something about, you know, this gun here can be used to take down a 60-foot monster, but what's the fun in that? And then it shows her trying to take one down with the bow and arrow. That's the main commercial I've seen. But I mean, their campaign, that game is they've been marketing that game since, like I said, since E3 2015. So it's like you said, it's I think it's ready to come out, and I think it'll be one of the biggest games of the year selling. I don't know. I said, if somebody put that in front of me and Mass Effect in front of me, I'm gonna play Mass Effect 100 out of 100 times. So
I mean, look, I'll put it to you like this: whether Horizon Zero Dawn is good or bad, it doesn't make a difference. Because it's going to sell, because people want it right now and stuff like that. So they're not going to find out if it's good or bad until after they get it. Yeah. It's like, you know, like with a No Man's Sky, you know, it sold millions, and then to come and find out it was trash, the motherfucker tried to give it back and shit like that. So it's so whether it's good or bad, it's going to sell, because people have already made up in their mind that they want this game from seeing the little bit of it that they have seen and stuff like that and everything. So, you know, it's going to sell regardless, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm excited about it. I was just more I was just more surprised about the I mean, Nier going to PC. I had heard that too. It happened faster than I thought. And
man.
It happened faster than I thought. And Nier, to me, is going to get swallowed, because you got the Switch coming out like 2 days before it hits, and then, you know, you got Halo Wars just coming out.
Man,
so.
Hey, I seen an article today saying, and I can't remember which site it was from, but I seen an article today saying somebody says, you know, don't expect too much out of Nier or whatever and stuff like that and everything. And I was like, what? I was like, I guess. But and I actually, before before you went live with this podcast and everything, man, I was looking up some stuff on it, because I didn't know this until just tonight, that like Nier is 900p on the PlayStation 4, 900p, 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
And then it's 1080p on the on the Pro and stuff like that. It's 1080, 60 frames per second and stuff like that. And I watched a YouTube video. I was looking at it actually right before you before you went live with this and everything, and they had like a little comparison thing between the PS4 and the PC, the PS4 and the PS4 Pro version and stuff like that. And man, right towards the end and stuff like that, that thing dropped from 60 frames per second to 30 frames per second on both the Pro and the PS4.
That doesn't surprise me.
I was like, what? I was like, hold on. I was like, did I just see that? Did this thing just drop from 60 to 30 on both of these things and stuff like that? And I read an article.
Yeah.
I read an article and stuff like that, and they was like, saying like it's 900p on the PS4 and it's 1080p on the Pro, and they said that Platinum Games couldn't hit their 4K mark, their 4K goal on the Pro and stuff like that. And I was like, and I start, and I started thinking, I was like, man, I was like, and
the demo was only 900p. The demo that came out, it was, and again, it's a good game. I feel bad for him because but swallowed,
But the thing, but the thing that got my wheels turning was I was like, man, these are the same people that these people couldn't hit 1080p on the PlayStation 4 when like 99, 98, 99% of the games on the PlayStation 4 on a base PlayStation 4 was 1080p.
Yeah, well, they wanted it to be 60, so they decided to do 900p. But and then 1080p with a 30. Yeah,
but I understand that. But when you look at some of this gameplay footage and stuff like that I've seen and stuff like that, I'm like, man, I've seen games that look more demanding than this be 1080p 60, on the PlayStation 4, on the base PlayStation 4. And I was like, man, because I've seen, and I didn't know too much about Nier or anything else like that. So so I'm watching this YouTube video and I'm looking at it and everything, and it's like, in some instances, it looks like a 2D side scroller.
Yeah, that's what I felt when I was looking at it too. I'm like, oh, it's not. There was more there, and I watched a guy, I guess, for 45 minutes play it, and I watched it for about 30 of that. I'm like, all right, there's more to it. So I got the demo. I'm like, all right, this is actually pretty fun. I just don't know when it's going to come out. And like I said, I think that was kind of the game people were kind of looking to the next big to be the next JRPG, but then Neo came out of nowhere. Again, came out of nowhere, and that has really surprised a lot of people because that's actually a really good game. Like G on Weapon Wheel, he reviewed it and he gave it a thumbs up, and of course Jack Moo liked it. So yeah, it's been cool. It's a good game, but I tell you what, man, it's 12:45 here Eastern time. I'm gonna go ahead and turn in. Yeah, give yourself a. I appreciate you joining me on this late night sabbatical. The only thing missing was some Cavassier. But go ahead and give yourself a big shout out, man. I appreciate you joining in. I really do.
No problem, man. No problem. Yeah, this your boy Wid0wmaker, man. Your regular dude from the comment section, just like y'all, man. Appreciate Craig for go ahead and extending the invite to me, this late in the evening and everything, and always appreciate chopping it up with you, man.
Yeah, no problem. This is Craig Harris. I appreciate everybody joining me. Shout out to all the people that watched and asked questions. And remember, you can disagree, but let's not be disagreeable. But all right, then, that's it. This is Craig Harris wrapping it up. A black man in the green chair that's about to be in the bed with the blue blanket here shortly. So, but I'll give everybody a hit back, and Xbox fanboys, just relax, like Wid0wmaker said. It is what it is. I mean, it's just kind of coming, and go play Halo Wars 2, and don't ruin the game for people. I mean, come on, don't be that salty. I mean, it's not even Friday. I don't got no margaritas here, so no salt here, no tequila. So again, Nier Automata to the PC and Halo Wars, go support it. Horizon has been pushed up. So you can get it on Monday about 6 o'clock Eastern time. So, all right, that's it, guys. This is Craig Harris with Wid0wmaker signing out for the night. And peace out to you all.